Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Buffs on Podcast. We are the best POD in the 313. Still the off season, still news slow, and I wouldn't even say steady. It's just slow. But today we got some stuff for you guys where we're going to do a little bit of a fun experiment. A lot of people like hearing these things, and we like doing them. So a little expansion draft going on. We're going to take the Pistons roster, and we're each going to protect, what did we decide, six?
Six.
Yeah. Six. All right. We're going to protect six players on the roster against expansion teams because I think everybody's ready for a little expansion. And if it was seven, it would kind of make it a little easy. Eight easier. I think we did eight the first time we did this. So we'll cap it at six and keep it a little complicated. So I'm curious to see what our teams turn out to be. We got the whole squad here today. Gabe's here. Connie's here. Valley's here from Germany. He's joining us. And I'm here. So let's jump into this. Do you guys have any rhyme or reason way you want to do this, or you want to just start spitballing?
Start spitballing.
All right, let's start spitballing. I think we can all agree on there's one person that we all want to protect. He's a guard. He was taken in the first round, and it's not Killian Hayes. It's Cade Cunningham. I think we're all going to protect Cade. Am I correct here?
Yeah, easy.
Yeah.
Obvious.
I did this in kind of a list format, so I kind of listed the way I would prioritize people, and I had Cade at number one.
Okay. And is Ivy number two?
He is indeed for me. Those are the clear-cut 1 and 2 for me, and I still take Cade at one. I still think his ceiling is so high. Although I did heavily consider putting Ivy at one. You know, we've spoken on how highly we think he can, perhaps become our best scorer on the team, best player on the team, but I still think Cade has all the tools. He also posted on his Instagram story, "Can't wait, coming soon." So it got me really hyped up. So I took Cade at one.
It did. It got me hyped up too. Gabe, Connie, you guys both got Ivy at two as well?
No.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay,
I know who you're taking. This is probably my three. But all right, go ahead. Who are your guys' number two?
I think we're in agreement, Cuddy. I think it's Jalen Duren.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like, if you have a guard and a big who are both good, you can get pretty far in the NBA. So I'd rather have that elite five-man elite point guard. Yeah, that's it, really.
Makes sense. I didn't know we were doing this in like an order of who we'd have. I thought we were just protecting them. But yeah, I can see why JD is number two on your list in that aspect, though.
I mean, I'm for sure predicting Ivy, but I think this playoffs has really shown how valuable big men are. I think every team that's still in it has a big man that's doing some like real work for them. And I think what's come back into importance, which was like phased out a little bit recently in the NBA, it's like offensive rebounding. Teams went away from it for a little while, but it's coming back in full force. Warriors with Looney, Heat with Bam, Knicks with Mitchell Robinson, even
big time.
His rebound. Obviously, Jokic, hypothetically, DeAndre Ayton.
Come on, you're missing one.
Boston is at their best when Rob Williams is cooking. So, like, it is really, like, vital to have, like, a good center. And I think a good center in the type of Jalen Duren that is a ball mover and an offensive rebounding just monster that could really hang, I think, with most of these guys. No one's hanging with Jokic, but most of these guys. And so, I mean, I've already told you guys I'm insanely high on Jalen Duren, all-star in the next 3 years.
You skipped Anthony Davis in the rundown of playoff centers, Connie. What are you doing, man?
Sorry. Yeah. that is my bad. I should have gone through everybody. AD. I mean, obviously, AD. He's a monster.
Huge monster.
I would.
No, makes sense. And then three on your guys' list has to be Jay Ivy, doesn't it?
No question.
Yeah.
No? Oh,
no question. No question. I got it. Absolutely.
All right, so where we're at, we all got Cade, we all got Ivy, we all got Duren. Let's see if it deviates from here. Let's see who's first on my screen, and we'll go with four. Connie, Valley, shoot. Who is your fourth player you are protecting?
Yeah, I don't mean this in like any sort of a disrespectful way, but I think after those three guys, there is somewhat of a significant drop off. And so with anticipation of us getting a pretty good draft pick next year, I went whoever that 2023 first round draft pick is. Should it be Victor Wembanyama? Perhaps he slides up. But either way, if we fall 2, 3, 4, or 5, I slot our 2023 pick at the number 4 for me.
Connie, who do you got?
I wish I could argue, but I'll also have that pick. If it is the 1 or the 2 pick, I might slide it up to second. If it's the 1 pick, I think Wemby becomes the number 1 guy to protect.
Makes sense. Gabe, who are you protecting?
Yeah, I want to say Stewart, but I think he's gonna have to wait a few more rounds, maybe. So I'll also go that pick.
I went to pick 2. I came up with the question that I wanted to ask you guys. You guys on the last pod talked about how if the pick became 4 or 5, you would trade the pick. So I asked this question in the chat: would you trade for Jalen Green? Would you trade this pick if it fell to 4 or 5 for Jalen Green?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, despite us being guard heavy, I think in an instant I would do that.
I mean, I think even if we are guard heavy, the chances, I mean, we may end up with Amen Thompson at 5. We may end up with Asora Thompson at 5. Those guys are both kind of pretty much guards. Brandon Miller's probably gone. Jarris Walker, if Amen and Asar is still there, is probably gone. Taylor Hendricks, who Gabe is high on, that I started watching, I've become a little high on as well. Connie mentioned Anthony Black and Grady Dick, but I don't think they're going to be there at 5. So the way I looked at it is Weaver loved Jalen Green's athleticism, and Amen Thompson has that athleticism, but Amen Thompson does not have nearly the scoring ability that Jalen Green has. So that's what kind of led me to like, yeah, if it came up, I would definitely do it.
Yeah, his jumper looks just really awful. Some people miss shots, but like it looks ugly.
Yeah.
I would not make that deal.
No.
I'd rather have the pick for either a different trade or like a big wing or something. Like Ivy and Cade are locked in as like our backcourt, but you'll play Green at the 2, Cade at the 3, or.
I mean, I think that's what would happen if you get someone like Amen or Asar eventually. Anyway, Asar, you could still do Cade at the 1, but.
I mean, those guys are like 6'7". No, those guys are pretty big.
Oh yeah, that's why I'm like really high on like the first 5. Like anyone you get is going to be 6'7" and up besides Scoot. All right, so 5th. We'll go reverse order this time. Gabe, who do you have as the 5th player you are protecting?
Well, I just mentioned his name. I think Isaiah Stewart. He's not a star, but he's a perfect piece. I think he could be playing playoff minutes for any team right now. And also kind of the competition for this spot isn't very high. There's one more guy I think we're going to be in agreement with. But just due to his age.
Took this long to protect him, though.
Yeah.
I don't think he would actually last this long.
I mean, I think it's about, if it were skill level, then no, but it's about growing with the team, age, and like that Detroit grit and grind that I think Stewart would be my 5th pick.
Makes sense. Connie, who are you protecting?
Oh man, this is a boring podcast. Isaiah Stewart, also like it's all what he said. Plus, I think it is a skill thing. I sent in the group chat a while back. There was some metric that measures like playmaking, like just general playmaking, that is scoring, dribbling, pass, all that jazz. And from last year to this year, in the minutes that he did play, in the games where he was there, Isaiah Stewart had the greatest improvement in playmaking, general playmaking, of any player in the NBA. And we talked about in the beginning of the season with drafting Duren, with having these centers on the roster, where like Isaiah Stewart as a 4 has to not only, well, one, he needs to start shooting more, which he did. He did start shooting more. There was obviously a slump in the season there, which we can, if we want to, attribute to that shoulder injury that he had. But when he was healthy, when he was in there, he was shooting threes at a high rate and a pretty high percentage. So he checked off that box towards becoming a 4. And then, with the playmaking, which is the other part of when you're moving from a 5 to a 4, stretch 5 is great. Stretch 4 is kind of not a thing anymore in the NBA. Like if we think about like who were the stretch 4s for that brief period of time, Ryan Anderson, Steve Novak, I don't know, Chris Bosh was more than a stretch 4, so I don't want to say Chris Bosh. But it's kind of not a thing anymore. Huh?
Anthony Tolliver.
Marvin Williams.
Marvin
Oh, Marvin Williams.
get played off of the court if you're just a shooting four. Like fours need to do so much more. Like again, like it's funny how like there's like waves to like how basketball works. It's like we always talk about like, oh, this is the new thing, this is the new thing. But a new thing is often just an old thing, which is fours are doing things again. And Isaiah Stewart has shown that he improves in that. He does look sometimes like a baby deer, but it's weirdly effective. And yeah, so Isaiah Stewart was my easy fifth guy.
A baby
Nice.
rhinoceros. We're like,
I like it. Valley, who do you got at 5?
Yeah, again, no real changes here. Connie hit on a lot of points there that I wanted to touch on. But because Gabe said it's not a skill thing. But when I was looking at all the other guys, after picking these four guys, I don't think any of them are honestly like that close to Stu in terms of overall like skill and level of impact that they have on the game. So for me, it was a no-brainer with what we've seen in development in all aspects of his game. But for Stu at 5.
Yeah, agreed. Connie, I think you were saying early on that you had very little to no confidence in Stu's shot. Has that changed?
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's not a dynamic shot at any rate yet. I mean, from his improvement to this last year to this year to next, it could become more dynamic. It's very much a set catch and shoot type thing, but yeah, I'm more confident in when he pulls it.
And
Okay.
I'm very confident in his growth. Obviously what we've seen from the season to the last. But also on his exit interview, he was saying that he just can't wait to lock himself in the gym. And I just envision that so easily, man. Stu just has that dog in him. I wish I could get a camera in there and see that. But I have full belief in him, developing that jumper in every aspect and making it like more mobile, so it's not just wide open catch and shoot.
That would be scary if it becomes mobile.
Sky's the limit, man.
You're right. Let's see. All right. I'm pretty sure this is gonna maintain boring, but I got a little backup question if it goes south.
Who's yours?
Who do we all got at 6?
Who's your 5?
Oh, mine is
Also
the same.
Stu?
It's Stu. Yeah. Who we got at 6? We'll start with Connie.
6 was a tough one. That's where the
Yeah.
answer,
Do you want to go youth or do you want to go like experienced?
the answer is likely Bogdanovich.
Yeah.
I was thinking about some other guys, Hamidou Diallo, Isaiah Livers, just because you need wings, right? Like we've protected guard, big. Got to protect the wing at some point.
we don't have any wings is the problem.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah.
Do we want to protect them? Is James Wiseman a question? Like, is he in this conversation at all?
He was on the if I wanted to go youth, yes. But if we need scoring, which this team desperately needs, even with Bogdanovich, then yeah, it's gotta be Boyan.
Wiseman. Yeah, I would have to say Bogdanovich, just off kind of default.
Yeah. Gabe, Valley, you guys have anything different?
I do. Gabe, do you have anything different?
Yeah, also.
Oh, all right. Roll.
I was gonna go protect Livers. I just like Bogey has value for another season, maybe 2 seasons. Eventually he'll get injured or he'll get too slow. He's already a bad defender. Well, he's okay defender. Livers is a great defender, and his offense is kind of come and go. But he showed stuff late in the season. I believe that he was at 36% from 3 this year, which isn't great, but it's also not bad. And I think that number will climb as we get more point guards, as Cade plays, as Ivy plays more. So I think he's just a great 5th starter, pretty much. He's like, if Isaac Okoro could shoot, that's probably Livers, and the Cavs could have used that. So that's kind of my
Big time.
thinking there, yeah.
Valley, who do you have at 6?
Yeah. So I know I picked a lot of guards here already, but I went with my boy.
Oh my God.
Let me explain why I picked Killian Hayes.
Okay, take it.
I don't see the need to go with any veteran guys. Like Gabe said, I think Bojan's value is only going lower as the days go by, as the seasons go by. The one I was really stuck on was Isaiah Livers. However, I think that 3-and-D wings are somewhat replaceable in this league. They don't have an extremely like high on the ball skill output. And on top of that, with Livers, he's constantly been injured. Like we're always excited for the idea of Isaiah Livers, but he ends up playing, I don't know, 20, 40 games in a season. On top of that, he was a 4-year college player. So I do really think he is replaceable. For that reason, I didn't go him. James Wiseman, get out of here. Didn't even consider him, to be honest. Which led to me just going Killian Hayes. Obviously the bias, but I've seen the flashes. I'm an extreme optimist in his situation. And there wasn't enough from any of the other guys to make me, not take Killian Hayes.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Can I hear your rebuttals? Because I know Gabe and Connie are definitely probably upset about that.
I mean, yeah, you don't need to protect Killian Hayes because an expansion team is not going to pick.
Would an expansion team select Killian Hayes?
Yeah, man. If an expansion team selects Killian Hayes, that might be the shortest stint for an NBA GM all time. Bringing you in, and a week later, it's like, we got to part ways with this guy. He's made too many bad moves. No. I mean, the flashes are really they're so cool, Like the flashes are really flashes, man. They're bright lights, they draw your head. You're like, what the hell was that? But man, a lot of the time that light is just off, and it's just midi pull up, dribble, 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 midi pull up, dribble, dribble, dribble. Not passing the ball, not moving the ball, getting burned on defense. If you're supposedly like a top level defender. I don't know, man. There's nothing I can say right now on Killian Hayes that I haven't said throughout this season. Obviously, I wouldn't protect him.
One thing like I'm really looking forward to seeing him do this summer is because he completely tweaked that jumper. When you look at it, 1 year to the next, it's a completely different, shooting pocket. And one thing I'm excited for is him getting an entire offseason to work on that, working with that jumper. And then what I'm also incredibly excited for is we get to see him then later in the FIBA World Cup with the French national team. So maybe we get to see that and get really excited for the upcoming season.
I wouldn't mind it. Gabe, you got any rebuttals about Valley taking Killian with his 6th pick?
Nothing that hasn't been said already. Like, I think a team would probably choose Corey Joseph over Killian if they're both unprotected and if they want to win games.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Valley, with the, it's always the off season, man. Hope is always the highest one. It's like, man, I can't wait to see him get. They're working on it, man. Bring me back to those Andre Drummond step back 3-pointer videos. Like, whoa, man, he's working on it. You're gonna see he's gonna dominate next season.
Yeah, gotta temper the expectations
when everything is fully hypothetical.
So, question. Yeah, go.
No, I was just gonna say I do it every single year, so I get my hopes completely crushed during the regular season.
Yeah, I mean that's the glory of being a Pistons fan. On last week's episode when we did the picture perfect off season, I just saw this name out and about, and I was perfectly fine picking him up, but none of you brought him up, so I just wanted to bring him up, see what you guys think. Javon Carter to kind of replace Corey Joseph's role. What do you guys think?
I'm 1,000%. I got to jump in before anybody here. I've always been a huge fan of him. He just has that mentality, I don't know how many times we've spoken about that grit and grind, but he has it. The only thing I'd be scared about is I'd want him to get some more minutes, not just that Corey Joseph role.
Yeah, I mean like backup point guard, like kind of like running with the guys.
Absolutely, I would. And he's comfortable operating with other guards, sometimes even multiple other guards, as we see in Milwaukee. And I do think he'd be pretty excited to look for a bigger opportunity, having not played that much, and especially with the Bucks then getting out early in the first round. So absolutely, give me Javon Carter.
Yeah. Connie, your thoughts?
Yeah. All of what Valley said, plus that dude has a heater. He shot 42% from the 3-point line, and some of those threes that he hits are just like full past half court, almost logo, just like full heat check splash, and it's and he hits them. Like Javon Carter is beyond like just being a dog. Is a good player, and I love him on this team.
Gabe.
Yeah, same. The only thing I'd be concerned about a little bit is he shot well because he played with Giannis and two other All-Stars on the Bucks. He had that one scoring explosion when he had the ball in his hands. I forgot how many he scored, but it was a lot. But he's just, I don't know. He's not really a point guard, I think, but he'd be a good
Yeah, it's
Back
fine
up
for this
too.
team.
I
backcourt
think
player.
not being a
Yeah,
point guard almost suits us more. With
he's
Cade,
just
with
small.
Brandon, with
Yeah, I
Killian.
mean, but he was one of the most menacing defenders in the league. I forget, someone shared a stat, but he was ranked first amongst some pretty high defensive rated guys.
I
Speaking
think
of,
that would work so much because Casey always tried to. I know we don't have Casey anymore, but he always tried to slot in Joseph with another guard, sometimes with two other guards. So we're playing 3 point guards out there, but Carter is more of a two in the brief times that I've seen him play, which I think would benefit us so much with a lot of talented guards on this roster already.
Yeah.
speaking of dogged guards who are free agents and are looking for a larger role, Mr. Dylan Brooks. Interesting.
No,
No, thank you.
no. I thought you were gonna say Peyton Pritchard, and I was gonna agree with you.
Brooks, man, it's a guy that you hate until he's on your team. It seems like
I'm sure Memphis fans hate him too.
giving you an attitude.
Good thing he's not on a team. That means no one likes him.
Yeah, he's just a bad player. He doesn't do anything good.
Of
Other
defense,
than
he defends good. He is a good
he's
defender.
he's
Yeah,
an all right defender. He's
You know who
strong,
kind of defends
sure.
good, but can't really score.
Yeah, that's the biggest issue. That he can't score, but he really thinks he can score. And I think if he came to the Pistons, like those quotes came out that he wants a bigger role. He's more than just a catch and shoot and defender guy. I think he might take being on the Pistons as that opportunity to really do a lot, which we wouldn't want him for. So, no, I wouldn't want him. I was just wondering if anybody.
No. I mean, we got rid of
I
Sadiq
think-
Bey for trying to do too much anyway. So, I mean, giving Dylan Brooks the ball would just make no sense to me.
He also shoots 32% from deep, on a decent amount of attempts per game. So I'm completely passing on that. I would probably start a riot should we sign him.
I mean, yeah. And again, I go back to what Weaver said, character guys. This is not a character guy. This is not someone you really want in your locker room to, help these young kids continue their growth to being good men. And especially if he's going to talk all that crap and then avoid the media. I think Connie said it, like, you can't talk all that crap when you're high, and then when you're low, avoid the media. You can't do that. If you want to be a villain, be a villain. Don't run away and hide when it doesn't go your way. So it's a hard pass for me. The Pistons have officially fired their assistant GM, Rob Murphy, due to some questionable decisions he made with the former female employee. So now that he is finally gone, there's a huge opening for assistant GM. I guess, I mean, I don't understand why people really thought we were going to hire Ime when we let go of Rob Murphy 6 months ago for pretty much a similar situation. So I'm glad the little bit of toxicity that this organization has had is kind of in the rearview mirror now. But I guess now we're looking for an assistant GM as well as a new head coach.
Yeah. I think it's gonna be a DMV guy. Troy loves that. I wouldn't be surprised if he poaches like a Miami Heat guy who has connections to that area in the past, or like a Spurs guy, like an old, kind of an older, kind of opposite of new head coach. An older, experienced, has connections. That's what Weaver is kind of, except he's not that old. But I think it's mainly about connections. Been there, done that, knows how to run a team. So a person that Weaver trusts.
Mm-hmm. Anybody else have any thoughts on that? I will say, kind of just going based off of former teams that have experienced in my picture perfect offseason, I think Connie chose him. I would take Collins too, just based on his pedigree, 44 years of age. And he was with the Warriors during the golden age, and he's been with the Pelicans. I think Valley said it, who have been, when they're healthy, they're on their highs. So I'm taking Collins over Lee or Ollie. But any other Rob Murphy thoughts before we move forward?
Not much. I honestly forgot that even happened, to be completely honest with you. But what I do like, what this symbolizes is, new coach, new assistant GM, obviously got some guys coming back next year. It's just exciting that this is the official turn of the page, a new chapter of Detroit basketball. It's time to get real. It's exciting that this is happening now.
Yeah, agreed.
He was hired in 2021.
Was he really?
They said the same thing when you brought him on, but I don't know. I'm glad that they just nipped it in the bud. Like there was no hankering about it. It was just like this guy violated conduct. He's out.
You gone? Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed. All right. I guess you guys got any other Pistons topics, or we can move on to some playoff basketball.
Kind of relating to Pistons because there's a player on there. Speaking of Javon Carter, made me think last week I did the all cupcake team. I thought, why not make an all dog team?
Like it.
Spoiler, Javon Carter is not on it. He'd be on the bench though. And so I think for me, the captain, PJ Tucker, he doesn't do anything on the court except dog. Jimmy Butler, co-captain, and then Pistons, Isaiah Stewart. That's really his calling card as well, I think. And then Draymond Green and Bruce Brown round out the team.
Can I add someone? Also,
yeah.
I think a little quieter of a dog, but when he's pushed, when he pushed, he always comes back and he's always grinding and he never really complains about it. Is Jokic, and if you actually want that team to win games, he's not like I don't think the typical demonstrative, dog, and be barking and shit. Like he seems like kind of unfazed. And is always going to rise to the occasion and fucking do it in a manner which is physically imposing, which I think is always an important part of being
when
also,
he gets mad, I feel like he just goes extra hard on the post, Like I haven't seen that much against Ayton but like against Rudy Gobert, whenever he got mad, he would just throw his body into him, and it was incredible.
No one can stop him.
In the playoffs, was it last year? Like him and Devin Booker got into it, and he's just like walking him down. Like Devin Booker says one thing, he just turns around, just like walking him down, like chest to chest, and Devin Booker backing up, Jokic walking forward. It's just.
I feel like he's got to be the most least trash talk guy too in the NBA.
I bet he's got I bet he's
Kawhi.
But yeah, no Kawhi.
Well, because he plays 4 games in a season.
Steph Curry doesn't make your all dog team?
No.
No.
He's just good. I think he's
good.
Average.
He's got some of he's got some asshole in him. Steph Curry, when he's
I think that's most all-stars do. Most stars. Marcus Smart was on my list. Jared Vanderbilt, Drew Holiday. Jokic was also on my list, but he wasn't on my
Sexton?
Final cut. No.
You said Draymond, right? Yeah.
Yeah, he said Draymond.
No Dylan Brooks?
He's on the cupcake team.
Yeah.
Playoff basketball has been fun, though. I will say I'm loving how the 1 seed was taken out. I just love when the underdog wins, and I feel like Valley said it how many times when he was pushing for the Knicks for the finals. Like anything can happen when the 1 seed's out. I just love it. I love the competitiveness that's going on right now. I love the evenness of the series. It's just it's been fun, and the one series I was looking forward to was Suns Nuggets, but with all cupcake team honoree DeAndre Ayton in the center for Phoenix, I don't think Phoenix really stands a chance, but it's a little unfortunate.
I mean,
Nuggets have been really good.
but they also
This
did what
year.
they're supposed to do. Like, if
Yeah.
you don't go 2-0 at home, then that's considered a failure, right? Like, if the
Yeah,
Suns
that's
go
true.
with 1-1, they won that. So like the 2-0 was supposed to happen. We're going back to Phoenix. Let's see how it works out. What is concerning for the Suns is like what you think about when you go back to Phoenix is like the role players are gonna not show up as well for Denver, but the role players didn't show up at all. Pretty much, other than KCP, pretty big down the stretch there. In game
Mm-hmm.
two, up 97 points, and it was basically just on the back of again Jokic being just like generational. I think Jokic. This might be the season where he stakes his claim as like he's won the MVPs, but I don't think he's gotten the like nationwide respect of being the best player in the NBA. Jokic makes a real push here. I think he's certainly looking like so far through these playoffs, he's looking like the best player in the NBA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Him or Curry.
And Gabe, you texted in the chat saying like you went back and listened to the last pod and you found something and you wanted to bring it back up and that you were right. You were also right about how either one of CP3 or KD would go down. And
Yeah, it's just
there you go.
that's fate. Yeah.
You said that the Nuggets not winning both their home games would have been a failure. Do you not think that Phoenix not taking one game is a failure from their point of view?
I mean, they're the lower seed away. The Nuggets have a home court advantage. Like the home team, the higher seed home team, you're supposed to win those two. Like
Yeah,
we saw the Warriors lost both games to the Kings, and everybody was up in arms like, "Oh, the Warriors are gonna get swept." Fucking Draymond bum. Everybody sucks. And they come back and they win it in 7. I'm just saying, like, series is a long way from over. Now, I do think the Nuggets are gonna win that series because Jokic just looks.
They might sweep.
I think that's
I
what's
don't
looking
think
likely.
we got to watch this game coming up in Phoenix before.
You're right.
Like that's always different, man. Like that crowd is going to be ruckus.
Electric. Yeah.
But like their bench scored 2 points last game, was it combined?
Are you serious?
I think so. And
That's what I'm saying. Who
this
did
time
it?
Cameron Payne is starting. No, Suns bench.
Yeah.
And this time Payne is starting. So who's off there? Like they have 2 players.
Look, all I'm saying is that I bet at home Torrey Craig is going to hit those threes at a little higher rate. Josh Okogie is going to play a little bit better, and I'm not counting out like if you're counting out the game where Kevin Durant is the best player on the court, I wouldn't do that because he hasn't done that yet. Hasn't been great this series, but
because Aaron Gordon, I've been telling y'all, Aaron Gordon is insanely good player.
Like there's always guy stoppers. There's Aaron Gordon, Kevin Durant. People always say this guy is big and strong and it's the right matchup, but like at the level that Kevin Durant is, there is no right matchup. There's just like better matchup. There's Aaron Gordon is not the reason that like Kevin Durant shouldn't go out there and beat Kevin Durant. Like
I just feel like KD's not hitting his shot. That's why it is the way it is. I mean, Gordon, yeah, is bothering him, but I just feel like KD's not hitting shots that he normally hits.
Which I can't expect to keep happening.
Yeah, exactly.
I just think
Booker's been phenomenal.
Yeah, they're overloading on those 2 guys because like they're not great passers, and like you can help off the corner. They're not gonna like cross court to the corner.
No,
they're good. They're going to shoot a mid-range jumper. Like that's just what they're going to do. And if that's the way you want to play, like that's a good shot to give up, I guess. And value the Knicks. The Knicks look they look outclassed right now by the Heat. I think. I think it's going to be a quick series.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah.
They're tied 1-1.
Yeah,
it might be over in 5.
They're like,
but just based off game
Heat without Jimmy Butler is like Bam Adebayo and then 2 geriatrics and Kevin Love and Kyle Lowry and then a team full of people that might not see minutes on like another roster. Like Caleb Martin was like a bench player on a shit Hornets team. And now
Martin's been a pretty big figure for them all season.
He has. He even started for them at one point until they got low.
Who?
Caleb Martin.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. He's like,
regularly been in the rotation all year for them.
But the only team that this would happen on is the Miami Heat, is what I'm saying. Like Caleb Martin on another team is not like a valuable, or he might still be a valuable, but he's not like a big time playoff player. Like the Miami Heat are I don't know, man. The fact that Eric Spoelstra doesn't have a coach of the year is like
Yeah, it's
His
questionable.
entire career, he doesn't have one.
he doesn't have
Yeah.
a coach of the year.
That's wild. He's one of the best coaches of all time.
hmm
Like he's the one guy. Like there's not a lot of coaches where like I watch the games and I'm like, damn, this coach is really going crazy. But Spoelstra is like one of those guys where it's like the adjustments that he makes, the way they play different defenses, like they never let anybody get comfortable, and that's what you got to
It's
do.
so fun watching a Heat game for that reason.
Adjustments, counter adjustments, and he's always like three. It seems like he's 3 steps ahead of the other team with what he wants to do, and it's like
hmm
it's a worse roster, but goddamn.
I'm still very high in the New York Knicks winning that series. I said Knicks in 6, and I'm gonna stand by that actually. Is Butler coming back for game 3? I assume he is.
He is, yeah.
But
Yeah.
even when he played, it was still a close game. And not to mention the Knicks won in game 2 without their guy. They won without Julius Randle. They should be getting him back.
Randle played in game 2.
Did he really?
He did play in game 2.
Excuse the game was at 3 a.m. here. I didn't see it. I still back the Knicks to win that though. And on top of that, Philly, I'm not convinced by Philly whatsoever. Embiid has been lackluster, dare I say, bad in the playoffs. I don't
He
think
just won MVP. We didn't even touch on that.
Yeah.
We'll get to it.
I will also excuse his performance in this last Celtics game because that man.
Yeah, okay. It's his comeback, yeah.
What about the 10% 3-point field goal all playoffs? Like he's been bad. We all saw the stat that Kawhi Leonard has made more field goals than him in the playoffs, despite playing 2 games, Kawhi Leonard. Boston looked fantastic in game 2, but still I think there's question marks. Dude, I'm just telling you guys, I just want to keep reiterating that I called it, that the Knicks are going to the finals and winning the championship.
All right. I mean, it's documented. We'll blast it on social media if it happens. But until then, I don't know. I feel like the Knicks have the upper hand right now. I'm excited for this Boston Philly series though. That seems like it'll be at least interesting for the most part. But this is like an anything can happen type of playoffs. The one seed's gone. Boston may just drop the ball completely and lose to Philly if James Harden just continues to turn back the clock. I mean, the Knicks in the Eastern Conference Finals, I don't think really a lot of people had that at the beginning of the year. It's just fun. It's just fun basketball. I think Gabe said it. It's fun to watch good basketball. And when people take shots, you're like, no shot, and it goes in. Like, I miss that, and you sometimes forget that making shots is a part of the game when you watch Pistons for like 6 months straight. So. Any other thoughts before we get on out of here?
Well, I would love to get into this, MVP debate.
Go for it.
No, I just want to know what you guys think, because I mean, I was on Team Jokic. I just thought the narrative was completely shifted Embiid's way. He was still incredibly dominant. Mr. Triple Double, gave you these points, this many rebounds, this many assists. Overall impact, he played more games than Joel Embiid. I just thought this is another thing that voters always do year after year. It's just the narrative. The narrative gets taken away. We see it so many times, and I feel like it's happened yet again this year. People were tired of seeing Jokic winning the MVP, and I don't think they were ever going to give him a 3rd one in a row. I think he would have had to do something really spectacular to get that. Not that he didn't do that. I just think he had to do another level to get it from the voters. I was a little upset. I mean, I understand why. I'm not saying Embiid had a bad season over here, but I still just thought, like, overall, just looking at it, like if you hit the 2 players, player A, player B, I would have picked Jokic pretty much every single time, I'd say.
Yeah, same.
I would love Jokic. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just watching him play. Like Embiid, you can shut down Embiid, right? The Nets did in round 1. Double team immediately. He just passes out of it. Like if you try to double team Jokic, it's a layup, or he'll make the right read every single time. It's also the surrounding team though, right? Like I feel like Denver has better cutters than Philly has, so it makes it easier for a guy like Jokic to hit a guy. I mean, Jokic's passing ability is unmatched. I'm not saying Embiid could hit it, but I just feel like the team. They built the team around Jokic because he can do that.
Mm-hmm.
They put shooters around Embiid because he draws attention. Inside.
Yeah. The MVP is not the who's the better player award. who you'd rather take for the championship is who was the best player in this regular season. And Jokic.
It was
tanked
Jokic.
last month. No, it wasn't because he tanked the last month, man.
Yeah, on purpose.
He didn't win.
I literally think on
That's
purpose.
the thing. Joel Embiid was completely dominant this regular season. Like
He was.
completely, utterly. Like you guys, I don't know. I may be getting skewed by this lackluster playoff performance, but he was a monster this regular season. He was like arguably better than Jokic this regular season in the minutes that they did play. But like, I don't know, man. Jokic was very clearly not going after it, and his play down the stretch covered that. Like his defense, like I expected, his defense is much better again in the playoffs, but it was shit in the regular season. Like he obviously like didn't care to contest a lot of stuff. He was fouling a lot. He had like 4 times as many kickball violations as the next guy up. Like that's which is just like I'm not trying to play defense here. I'll just kick the ball. Like I don't know. Jokic did not deserve MVP this season just because like he didn't put. He had it for a while there, and then he took his foot off the gas.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, I mean, at the same time, he's probably conserving energy for these games too. I mean, he's done so. He's done so much. He's the reason Denver is where they is.
Yeah,
wow,
he's
that
the better-
sounded
I would say
awful.
he's the
Denver
better
is where they are, but yeah.
He's the better player, which we're seeing in these playoffs. But like LeBron James was the better player for a decade and a half, and he didn't have every single MVP. So like, yeah.
I guess we got to spread the love a little bit.
I think in terms of playoff success, I think it was Mike who said this. I just don't see Embiid having like championships. I don't know if he's got the
Not
build.
the MVP though.
Yeah, I know. I'm just going back to the playoffs here. I just can never see him the way he is right now. You know, the weight he's at, the way he plays. I just can never see him like stringing it together and making that making that push to win a championship. Whereas
I mean,
I know
if it doesn't happen this year, then
but
it's
whereas
not
Jokic
looking
can.
good.
I mean, he's obviously. I mean, it's the health thing. I think if he stays healthy, I could definitely see it out of him. But it's just like every single playoffs, it seems like now it's the same thing. Like he was a shell of himself in that second Boston game.
I mean, like, would you say if it doesn't happen this year, it's never going to happen?
No, I would not.
You would
I would
not?
not say that. That's all. I feel like always jump on that. But like, why couldn't it happen next year? Is it going to be worse next year? I don't think it's going to be.
Well,
worse.
I mean, I think the team he's on is going to be worse, especially if James Harden
Yeah.
gets traded.
I don't know, man. He's an incredible caliber player, and who has
No question.
He's
Do you
gotten
think he
better
does it in
every
Philly,
single-
though? I don't think he does it in Philly.
He keeps adding more and more and more. So, and Daryl Morey's always I don't know, gunning for better guys. So, I wouldn't count him out.
No, I wouldn't. I just don't think it happens in Philly. I think if it's going to happen, he's going to win it somewhere else.
I'll count him out.
Really?
I told Connie and one of our other friends I'm fresh off watching a 2-3 minute compilation of Joel Embiid dirty plays from his last season. So I'm really on the hate train of Embiid right now.
Ridiculous.
Makes sense. Any other thoughts before we get? Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I just have a question for you guys. Were you guys watching that last Boston Philly game, or at least before it was a blowout?
Yeah.
I could not.
Yeah.
Did you see the drone camera, and what was your take on it? Like, was that bothering you during the game? Like, I see a bunch of people talking about it on social media.
Yeah, I saw it. I
clips,
didn't
but-
know what the big hype
I
was. Just
I didn't like the drone shot. Like they cut to it a couple times. I just didn't like the angle. I thought it seems just like a worse version of the normal angle. I hate it. I hate it when the camera like they were doing a player tracking thing a little bit a while ago, but I hate it when the camera moves. I hate it when the camera moves to adapt to the players. I'd rather just see everything like a slow camera movement. I hate a fast camera movement in a fast game. It's just too much. Not an enjoyable viewing experience.
Baseline camera where it's like across the court from the floor
I can't-
until the Pistons score. Yeah, it's the worst camera in the world.
that is.
Dude, camera work in the NBA, it doesn't seem that hard. You go wide, and then if somebody scores, you zoom in on them as they run back. And then you go back to wide.
Yeah.
That's all you really need. Yeah.
Any other thoughts?
Tankathon spin.
We should do that. Good catch, Gabe. All right, hold on. Let me pull that up.
One spin.
One spin. We are 12 days away from the lottery. 12. That's it.
I guess fifth.
Oh, I guess one.
I'm guessing
One.
third. All right, you guys speak it into existence. I'm going reality with 3 or 5, and it's 5. Who we taking?
4 weeks in a row on the Buffs on pod. We're picking numbers 5 and 10.
It's great, right? I mean, like we're getting the way I see it, we're getting all the 5s out of the way now,
Yeah,
so that when the real thing happens, there's no 5s left.
So we're
I'm taking Amen Thompson or Taylor Hendricks.
That's funny. Yeah, after that Hoops Intellect video, I'm actually like I was already low on Thompson just because he's playing against high schoolers. But he can't shoot.
No, he can't. But like the upside is like
50% at the rim on layups. 50% against high schoolers with that kind of a vert.
But he's only like 18, 19. He's still a young kid. Like, you know, there's plenty of room to grow. That's the way I see it. Like, you can't pass on that kind of potential, in my opinion.
But anyway, I'd take Taylor Hendricks.
Yeah, I mean that's you can't go wrong with that pick though.
If he's on the board, I low-key think he'll go 4. But yeah, we'll see.
I think you're right. I feel like Jarris Walker's a better playmaker than Hendricks is. So
He's
I feel
smaller
like that's
and he can't shoot though. Yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like that's what may push him ahead because of how good Scotty Barnes was in his rookie year. But yeah, I think Taylor Hendricks is in the mix for sure. Connie, who do you got at 5?
5, I'll go Jarris Walker. That dude has some real nutty athleticism stuff.
He does. Yeah, I feel like he's like just the poor man's version of Brandon Miller, and I'm fine with that. With less creation, actually. Valley, who do you got?
I go Hendricks as well. I'm also very, very low on the Thompson twins because of the level of competition. I've done some more research on them as well, and I really, really hope we don't end up with one of them. I would definitely say Hendricks.
Wow, you guys are dead against the Thompson twins. My goodness.
If not, I'm still looking to trade them.
I think they'll shoot. Amen will shoot a higher percentage around the rim. Like, dude has pretty crazy touch. I mean, he's just some goofy stuff.
They're also super thin. I feel like when they bulk up and learn how to control their athleticism better, it'll be easier.
And they're Amen specifically, like they're really good passers.
Yeah.
Which, you know, take with a grain of like if nobody guards you, it doesn't matter. But like
yeah, exactly.
Killian Hayes, but I think they have a little bit more ability to like put downhill pressure on where that passing will actually come into play if you're just beating your dude with the first step, you know?
Yeah, that's true. Their first steps are crazy. So we go, who'd you go with, Connie? Oh, you went with Walker. So we go 2 Hendricks, 1 Walker, and then I took Thompson. So let us know who you would take at 5. Again, hopefully we're getting all the 5s out of the way now because, man, would it be nice to have Wemby or Scoot. We didn't touch on this. Did anybody see Scoot Henderson's Instagram story?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, speak it into existence. I will take Scoot. I will take Wemby. I guess I'll take Miller. I'll take one of the Thompson twins. Even if you guys are against it, I'll take Jarris Walker, Taylor Hendricks. So the way I see it is, yeah, is it going to hurt if we don't get 1 or 2? Yeah, it is. But at the same time, I trust Troy. We're going to end up with another player that is going to make this future even brighter, or he'll make a trade that will, you know, actually put us into the contention conversation. So any other thoughts before we get out of here?
If we pick 5, I'm going to be so sad.
Yeah, I'm going to be sad.
Get to be a good team in a small market, you got to get lucky. Like, you got to have some breaks. And if
we need more than 1 every 50 years is what I'm saying.
Wonder break right here.
Yeah, Gabe had the great idea to record us all while we're on the lottery. And I was like, man, it's going to be super short because we're going to start the recording at 14 and we're going to turn it off at 5. But anyway, let us know if you guys would be interested in hearing our live reactions to the lottery. or I'm still trying to figure out how to do a YouTube live. So if you guys would be interested in that as well, so that you can engage with us, we're all for that as well. But until next time, 12 days until the lottery, Detroit, throw the buffs on because the future is bright.